y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And today we are talking about loving yourself and how the whole Derrick Jaxn debacle situation is a prime example why loving yourself is the foundation to everything. Now, this whole situation has been pissing me off since it happened, and it bothered me in particular because a lot of dudes were found out to be cheating and all this other stuff last week. But the difference was that Sweetie left. Hopefully she stays gone. And what's that white man's name? The comedian that married the black woman. They're getting a divorce. So I don't even need to talk. Why? For what? They left. They knew that what was happening was not okay. They knew they deserved better. And so they left. This situation with Derrick Jaxn and his wife is something totally different. Now, I'm not going to blatantly say that he's a narcissist. I'm just going to say that there are some key signs that point in that direction. And if that is the case, based off of how she is presenting herself in these lives and things with her husband, and if you go to her Instagram page and scroll through, you can see a marked change from in her emotions. You can just it's just a flat change. She goes from posting pictures of her being happy with her family and cute dresses, doing her hair, just living life, to posting Bible verse after Bible verse after Bible verse. And you can kind of connect the dots and say there may be some emotional abuse going on here. It's a possibility based off of just kind of what we're viewing. And it's just sickening, it's sickening that, she has to experience that. I feel mostly bad for his wife, and that she doesn't even realize, it seems, what's happening, and that he came on live with her with a death grip on her hand and basically embarrassed her, because that's embarrassing. And don't know, because nobody in their right mind is going to sit there with their partner while their partner goes down the list of women that he has put his mouth on their vaginas and all this other stuff that he's done with women and everything like that in front of the world. No one's going to do that, and whoever's in their right mind. And you can look at her in that video. She doesn't say anything, barely. She looks tired while he is in his medium wine colored, long sleeve shirt, looking like he prepared himself this morning. She is just sitting there, just devastated. Not once did he say that he loves his wife, or not once did he even apologize to her, I don't think. And if he did, then let me know, because I didn't hear an apology. I didn't hear, I love my wife and I'll never do that again. I didn't hear any of those things in that interview. And, that's a red flag to say, do you care that she's here? Are you having a loving relationship if you never even mentioned it once and stuff like that? And it's just, and the fact that she came on her own live and then just started quoting Bible verses after Bible verses after Bible verses about, about being strong and how we can beat this monster and all this other stuff. And the thing is if you could beat it, then why did he have to get caught to stop? This is something in her life, she said that this is something he has to work through. Why did he have to get caught in order to stop? That's what I want to know. That's if it was really something that he is repenting for and working on, he wouldn't have had to get caught. The guilt would have ate him up to the point where he would just randomly start going to church and doing things just because. I think it's because he got caught, and I feel really upset about that. I mean, I can quote Bible, girl. I can quote me some Bible verses too. Let's see. Let's find, because I saved some specifically for this video because I was pissed off. Okay, let's quote some Bible verses, y'all. Okay. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Right. That's Proverbs 13:20. Says, don't stay away from foolish people. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another woman commits adultery. So the only reason, that's Matthew 19:9, that's Jesus' words. The only reason that we can divorce people is if they have sexual immorality. And of course it says his and wife, but men wrote the Bible. So I'm going to use it for both. I'm going to use it for all the genders that decide to get married and say, this person cheated on me. If we're really sticking with the Bible, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm So yeah, I am highly upset and bothered to have to witness this woman experience this. And I don't even, because I feel like people will always say, oh, well, she should just leave. She should just leave. It's not that easy. First and foremost, if she is being emotionally abused, and most likely she's what's called a trauma bond. Trauma bonds are not just psychological. You're not just telling yourself to stay in this situation over and over again in your head. Trauma bonds are chemical. It's basically a chemical addiction to a human being. First and foremost, we have the cycle of abuse. We have the honeymoon period, the buildup, and the climax. In the cycle of abuse, in the honeymoon period, that's when our best friend dopamine is rushing through and is making this period feel extra special. That's the hormone that rushes through that makes us feel high when we do drugs. If we didn't have that hormone, then we wouldn't be high from a lot of drugs. So it's mainly the influx of the hormone that the drug is creating, rather than the drug itself that's making us high. And it's not every drug, but a lot of drugs and stuff like that. And so that's rushing through our brain. So anything that makes us happy will pump dopamine, basically. So that honeymoon period makes us happy. Then we have the build up to the conflict, the issue. And in that build up period, we are rushing with oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that comes through mothers when they're giving birth to children. And basically it is the bonding hormone. It creates that bond that mothers feel for their newborn baby. And so that's what's rushing through when that build-up period is happening, like, oh, we have to keep this together. We have to keep this relationship going. We have to keep this bond going. And so we're running around with like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to maintain this relationship, not knowing why we feel the need to do this so much. And then when the climax happens, and maybe that dude will abuse you verbally, physically, will abandon you and leave you, especially if they like to leave and abandon you for long periods of time and then come back like nothing happens. During that period is what we have is called corticosterone. That is the hormone that pumps through, that it basically makes us go through withdrawal from our drug. So that is when we experience depression, anxiety, sickness to our stomachs, sadness, headaches, somatic symptoms, physical symptoms. That hormone is the hormone that makes us sick. It comes from cortisol. That is a stress hormone. And so it's what makes us sick when that person's gone, or when that person has left us emotionally or has abused us in that moment. And then when that person magically shows up again for the honeymoon period, that whole period of us being physically ill and emotionally ill and psychologically ill just magically disappears. Just like if a heroin addict is going through withdrawals and then suddenly gets heroin. All of a sudden, no matter how sick they are, they just suddenly spring back to life. Any addiction you have, as soon as your body adjusts to that addiction, it will fiend for that addiction. And when it's gone, you go through withdrawals. And as soon as you get it, you're fine. Even if you're on death's door sometimes, as soon as you get your drug of choice, you are perfectly fine, or it feels fine because that high is there. So trauma bonds are physical, emotional, and psychological addiction to another human being. That's what's going on inside of you when you're in it. So it starts to feel like passion. This is what love is supposed to be. Love is supposed to hurt this much. I'm supposed to be emotionally drained and going through depressive symptoms and doing all this stuff all the fucking time. No, that's not love. But the abuser likes to make it seem like it is. Like, that's our love. That means we're destined to be together. They'll say things like that, and you'll feel like, oh, maybe that, because I've never felt this much for somebody else. I've never gone into the depths of depression. I've never wanted to kill myself. or hurt myself because this person is leaving. So maybe he's right, or maybe they're right, or whatever. And it's a cycle of that over and over. And oh, that's why it's called a cycle of abuse. That's what happens in that cycle: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the psychological, all of the things. That is what is going on inside of the victim. And then we have the abuser on the outside. The abuser can tell immediately when the victim is done and ready to end the relationship. They read social cues. They understand how you're feeling. They just don't care. They only care when they can tell that you're ready to leave. It's just like that ex that you haven't talked to in weeks and you are deciding to move on and you're deciding to go out on dates, and how they all of a sudden just know that you've moved on. It's a sense or something. It's the same thing with abusers. They know most of the time how they're feeling, how you're feeling, and how they're impacting you. They just don't give a shit as long as you stay and you don't leave. So then when you do, that's when you get him trying to commit suicide to keep you there. Him begging you and pleading you and then being nice to you for about 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks they give you where they're nice to you just to get you reeled back in. And once those 2 weeks are over, boom, they're back to the same. It's about 2 weeks. That's what I've noticed. I've noticed that. And most of my clients have said it too. It's about, every time they come back, it's about 2 weeks. That they're just the most amazing person. Or, they're threatening to kill themselves or hurt themselves, or they're giving you some sob story about how they were abused and how depressed they are, and, trying to make you feel bad. Or they're on the highest tier of disordered, and they're chasing you down and trying to find you and come after you and sitting outside of your house and all hours of the night and all sorts of, things that are not okay. So while you're trying to combat your inner illness from this trauma bond, this person over here is just hitting you, love bombing, crazy people behavior, stalking you, calling you all the time, sending you a bunch of text messages. It takes a very, very strong-minded person to walk away from that. So I don't judge her. I feel bad for her because I've been there. I understand. I know what it feels like. This is not an easy game to play when you're dealing with somebody who could possibly be an abuser. And so if she is being abused, which it looks like she may possibly be based off of just how he presents himself, how she presents herself, the difference between how she used to be on her Instagram and how she is now, and the fact that he never said, I love my wife, I'm sorry to my wife, I want to rebuild our relationship, I want to work through, So this leads me into why it's so important for you to love yourself, because especially if you like cis heterosexual men, a lot of them are out here not embracing their emotions. And, Black men in particular are very sexualized people. They don't realize that they have been traumatized. They don't realize how intergenerational trauma has affected them. They don't realize, or they just don't care, and they don't want to do anything about it. Most likely it's that because you feel that you're angry, you feel that you're sad, you feel that you're anxious, you just don't want to do anything about it. And so you do fuck shit like have sex with a bunch of women to numb the pain. And stuff like that. So they feel it, they just don't want to do anything about it, or they don't care, or whatever. Like literally, slavery times, Black men were studs. So sex has been used against Black men for centuries. I was watching a YouTube video yesterday about this topic, and someone was saying how, like, we used to walk around topless. I think it was Yanni. I think her name is Yanni. Yeah, I think I used one of her clips in my other video about Black men fucking up, basically. So it's in one of my other videos, but yeah. So she was saying how, like, we used to walk around Africa topless. Like, our body wasn't just about sex when we were in Africa. Our body was about, fertility and about, rebirth and queenly things and stuff like that. And we came into white supremacy, and the white people sexualized us and turned us into some kind of sex monsters. They over sexualized the black woman's body, and they made black men studs to implant their seeds into everything. And that's basically what they've been doing ever since, is finding as many women as possible to implant their seeds in, and leave a lot of single mothers who have no one, and they are trying to rebuild their lives with a bunch of kids and stuff like that. So all of these things, and they're not doing anything about it. Like, black women are, statistically speaking, in therapy at higher rates than black men. There are more black women therapists than black men therapists, so that's the thing. If you are attracted to cis heterosexual men, especially black men, you are going to have a lot of tough skin, and you're going to have to, and the only way to have tough skin is to love yourself completely, especially since the language of men's emotions is sex, because they don't know how to articulate. They haven't been taught how. Men don't deal with their emotions differently from women. They were taught how to deal with their emotions differently from women. That's the difference. So men are out here feeling emotions like angry, sad, excited and joyful, embarrassment. But all of those emotions are either lumped behind anger or they're lumped behind sex. And they can't differentiate, because in most cultures, especially American cultures, men are taught that your emotions don't matter. How you feel doesn't matter. You don't need to, boys don't cry. What is this? What are these tears? It's so, you gotta have tough skin when dealing with these niggas. And building that tough skin means you have to like yourself completely, because that is going to be your motivation not to put up with dumb shit. First time, I don't need to be questioning where you're at all the damn time. Okay, so then that means that we don't belong together. I don't have time for this. You're giving me dumbass excuses, and I don't entertain stupid conversations, because you're trying to steal my joy. When you're not honest with me, because I love honesty and I'm honest with myself even when it hurts, I call that you trying to steal my joy. When, you don't respect me, but I respect myself, and that makes me happy to respect myself, then you're trying to steal my joy, because you're trying to tell me that I don't deserve respect. I have to go. So see how loving yourself is, like, even sexually, especially since men's language a lot of times is sex and anger, maybe food too. And I'm not going to lump sports in there, because sports is also a part of anger, that aggression, that whole spectrum of aggression and competition and anger and things like that. So anger, food, and sex. Those are their language, because that's what they're taught. They can reteach themselves. I have male clients who have retaught themselves how to feel things. So it's possible. Crying in session, all the things. Black men. So it's possible. It's just the majority of them have not or will not do it. So since men's language is the language of sex, find your G-spot. Learn about it. Learn to give yourself the best orgasm that you've ever had. This is for people with vaginas. This is for people that like their vaginas. And this is for people who don't have any physiological issues down there as far as having an orgasm, because that's possible as well. So let me just give those caveats. Find your G-spot. Learn it. Love it. Build upon it. Because once you find it, these niggas try to come and only speak the language of sex to you. You just look at them and be like, sir, I can make myself feel better than you ever can. What else are you bringing to the table? I'm not that excited by your dick. Yes. And so no man can ever hold their penis over you if you know how to make yourself come better than anyone else has ever made you come. Also, recognize that because the language of men and their emotions is sex, food, and anger, that Women's expression of emotions is on a huge spectrum. And, now I see why men get so confused by women, because men have never been taught to differentiate their different types of emotions and learn to be okay with why they feel the way they feel, and also learn how to take responsibility for their actions, and also love themselves even though they've made mistakes. So a lot of times men aren't taught that. And so when they see a woman crying because she's happy and being okay with the fact that she's crying, they're looking at that one like, oh my gosh, I'm so confused. Why is she crying? Like, nothing sad is happening. Because I was taught that it's okay to cry, even if you're happy, and you don't have to feel ashamed of it. So to me, crying is normal. To you, it's not. So it feels weird and awkward and like fucked up and shit. So that's why, you know, 9 times out of 10, a lot of women aren't going to cheat. And if they're cheating, they're not doing it purely for sex. They're doing it for companionship. They're doing it because they want someone to talk to. Because the vagina is very complicated. Okay? And so a lot of women are out here not having orgasms, no matter how many times they've had sex. So their main focus isn't on their vagina, because it takes a lot of care to bring a woman to an orgasm a lot of the time. Now, some women are out here, they touch it and it's 15 orgasms in a row, just one little tap. They can do that. They have that capability, that skill. Good for them. But the majority of us, I saw a documentary. There was this one woman who couldn't have any orgasms. And then this other woman who had epilepsy, some kind of epilepsy, where she was having an orgasm every 5 minutes, and she was basically in hell. And so the vagina is so finicky. It's sensitive. It has to have a good pH balance. No matter how good you clean your dick, latex can irritate the vagina. People have latex allergies. And a lot of these women are out here forcing themselves to push their way through sex while their vagina is burning. Because I've done it. I know everyone I know has done it. For these niggas to be happy. And these niggas, they don't know, or they don't care that they're hurting you, actually, that you're not having orgasms while you're having sex with them, that you have to pretend. They don't care, because their dick is easier to have orgasms than a vagina is. So women, when they like somebody, they're not just liking you for sex a lot of the time. They don't just want to be out here just having sex a lot of the time. Now, there are some that are sexually free and, things like that. But a lot of times for women, it's emotional. Like, you have to concentrate to have an orgasm. You can't just and this is like for me and for a lot of women that I've talked to, and I'm saying women because I don't know. But if you have a vagina, whatever, and you like it, and you are curious about orgasms and whatever. But I'm just gonna keep saying women. But y'all know what I mean. So yes. So for a lot of women I've talked to, it's kind of been like they've never had an orgasm. They've pushed themselves through sex just to, make their man happy. They've, had orgasms themselves, but no one else has ever made them have an orgasm. I think I read a statistic once where most women, like lesbians, have more orgasms than heterosexual women. And I'm just like, and that's the thing too, because sex isn't just a physical thing. Like, to genuinely care that your partner is feeling good, to want to be patient. Patience takes emotional stability. Patience takes empathy. Patience takes care and time. And, when you are having sex as a woman, you really have to, like I was saying earlier, you really have to concentrate. You have to concentrate on what turns you on about this person. It's a combination of what the person's doing and also what they do for you that makes you feel good. I've talked to women who have thought of how their man cleaned the bathroom earlier that day without being asked, and that's what brought them to orgasm, because it touched them emotionally and it made them feel good. That happiness you feel that makes you about to cry, that is the feeling that you get that pushes your orgasm sometimes, you know? Like, women are different. People with vaginas are different. So 9 times out of 10, women are not cheating like that. They're not thinking about sex like that. And if they are cheating, a lot of times it's for companionship and somebody to talk to and somebody that cares about their emotions and is there for them and holds them when they cry. You know, and this is not for every woman, but a good portion of us are just out here like barely having orgasms by these niggas and then having to deal with these niggas acting like children. And so learn the power of you, learn the power of your vagina, that these men are willing to ruin their lives over vagina because they can't embrace anything else. You know, like, that's the thing too. Like, they can't embrace anything else. And because their emotional coping skill is vagina, sex, anger, or food, those are the things that they tend to embrace. Anything that has to do with aggression, anything that has to do with sex, anything that has to do with food. We're not sitting around saying that thing that my friend said hurt my feelings. We're sitting around thinking about, well, what's the next bitch I can fuck so I don't have to think about how my friend hurt my feelings. We're not thinking about talking to our friend or trying to make our relationship better. We're just like, oh no, I'm going to beat his ass and then we're better now. See, so you're better now. Until your friend does it again, honey, because you never talked about it. So why should he feel guilty about it? And, you know, I mean, but it's not 100%. Some people have different dynamics in their friendships, and having to fight about it and socking each other in the face is enough. But like I said, went off on a tangent. But like I was saying, you know, men and women are different. And since men are out here not being socialized to express their emotions, they're scary. They're ticking time bombs. And you never know how they're feeling or what they want to do. And so unless you're out here just trying to have sex and manipulate them or take money from them, that's why people say men are easy, because most of those people want to manipulate those men. 9 times out of 10, if you want to have an actual wholesome relationship with a man, it's going to be some hard shit. Because then you're trying to ask that man to love himself, to love you, to take responsibility for his actions, to embrace his emotions, to be open, to be honest, to meditate, to go to therapy, to do all these things that say, I love myself and I want to be healthy and happy all the way through. Yes, it is hard to find a man that is willing to love himself and love you the way that he loves himself. So yeah. I feel bad for Derrick Jaxn's wife, because I know, you know, when somebody is just sapped of their energy and is done. He looked like he's doing a PR tour, just talking fast and trying to explain all of it away, and just looks unbothered, really. He just wants his audience back.
When I looked in the comments of this video, I don't know if old boy was trolling or not, but he said, D, I think I want to see a reaction to this video. So let's do it. And by the way, I'm gonna speak in third person. A lot of you already seen this, but this is Derrick Jaxn. A lot of people think of him as a relationship expert and guru and all of that. Well, he and his wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe even before,
she looks like she just went through the ringer, posting all of these scriptures that are talking about fight the good fight and all this other shit. And I'm just like, but you know, it's not my life. It's her life. And if that's what she wants for herself, I mean, it's not even about what she wants for herself. That is what is being fed to her. Because I feel like it in my spirit. Something is wrong there. Something is wrong there. He's not innocent of manipulating her beyond cheating. He is not. I feel it. And she got the trauma bond going on inside of her, telling her to make this marriage work. Like, he's never posted her ever. And she's like, I never wanted to be posted. And it's like, really, girl, really? You never wanted to be posted? You never wanted, like, her Instagram is a bunch of pictures of him and her on trips, doing things. So you wanted to be posted on your Instagram with your husband, but you didn't mind that he didn't want to post you. That doesn't make no motherfucking sense in the world. If you didn't want to be posted, then why are you posting him on your Instagram too, girl? I'm just asking questions, concerns, considerations. But these are the lies that we tell ourselves to maintain things like this, because we're stuck in a trauma bond. We're stuck in a broken cycle. She's the only one that can save her. God is the only one that can save her. We can only watch, and hopefully she sees videos like this of people reaching out. Don't judge her, because most of us have been there or understand where she's at. And if you've never been there, you've had that off-putting feeling that you've had around people, or when you saw movies of women that are, cowering like this, and stuck in cycles like this, and have that aura of desperation like that. And that off-putting feeling is given you, and you don't know why. But they can't help that they are in that situation a lot of the times. They can't help it the way that someone with a healthy mind could. She can help it, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pull away from that nigga. They've been together, it looked like, since high school or some shit. So that means, she's so nice. I remember being her. Just naive, loving somebody, thinking that they the one, want to do everything for them, want to post them all the time, want to believe in them and shit. And then you find out they ain't shit. And then they run this whole game on you about how they gonna do better. She using the scriptures and stuff. I use the scriptures too, girl. Tried to find the right scriptures that would make it right. Posting scriptures all the damn time, looking tired every time I posted a selfie. Yes, she do look tired. I don't care. She looked tired versus the other pictures she used to post. She looked tired. I've been there. That's why I can't even say shit. I've been there, crawling after niggas, apologizing and shit like I did something wrong and shit, when I know the fuck I didn't do shit wrong. I've been there. I don't know if she being abused, but it's all signs point to yes. I don't like to diagnose real people on here. I don't like to do that shit. I'm just saying it's looking suspicious. Okay. She looked hurt. She looked tore down. She looked tired. Just want to give her a hug. Don't nobody expect, because she was talking about, you expect me to sit up and look a certain way. No, we expect you, if you say you okay and that your relationship is healed and that y'all working through it.
So there's nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. So today, where I'm at is at peace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have no hesitation, I have no hurt, no shame about that. We have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you. I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So
we expect you to look like you're working through it. We expect him to say that he loves you. We expect him to say how much he loves you. We expect you to go on there dressed up too. Shit, why not? The fuck? Shit, go on there. If you saying everything is fine, why you ain't dressed up too? Why you look depressed? Why he don't look depressed too? That's why he don't look depressed. Fuck how she look. Why he don't look depressed? Why don't he look pressed or bothered? Why she look like drained and suffocated? Why he look fine? Not fine isn't attractive, because as soon as you do some shit like that, you ugly to me. You just ugly. You just ugly inside and out. But why he look like he's perfectly fine, nothing's wrong. He just want his audience back. And she look like she running through fire and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, oh, excuse me. I'm bothered, y'all. I am bothered. She didn't deserve that. None of us deserve that. Nobody that is in an abusive relationship, toxic relationship, manipulative relationship, whatever it is, y'all don't deserve it. I don't care what they telling you, the abuser. I don't care what you telling your fucking self. We tell ourselves a lot of things that aren't true. You gonna pick and choose shit from the Bible like the slave masters did to the slaves. Just picking and choosing shit that don't even match the situation. Fucking, they was talking about slaves that were only slaves for a certain amount of years and then they got set free. Some of them slaves were paid. So why are you reading about to the slaves that you stole from a different country and you beat and rape and shit every day? Why are you reading to them about slaves that get to be free after a few years? Them scriptures don't match the situation, sir, ma'am, niggas. And so the scriptures that she posted don't match the situation, because the thing is, this nigga came forward after he got caught, meaning that he came on the live looking like he was fine. He turned off his message on his comments on his Instagram. I don't know if they're still off, but they were off, while she kept her comments on. And I just feel like he has something to do with that, because at the end of the day, you are the victim, but your comments is on. You have to deal with seeing what everybody got to say on your page. You the one arguing with people on your page, posting shit on your page and shit like that. Like, you gotta go to war against all them motherfuckers that have thoughts and opinions about your shit. You gotta get the notifications in your email every time somebody got some shit to say about your shit, while he gets to have his comments off. Somebody was like, oh, well, she can choose. No, this is not no easy fucking choice to make, to get up and leave after you've been in bondage. This is not easy. This is not. I feel so bad for her. Every time I look at her, I feel bad. I just be like, I know she going to, because I had to look on my face before. I know what's happening. And don't y'all come for me talking about I'm projecting my own story onto her and blah, 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 blah. You know what? I know what somebody who has been through shit and is continuing to go through shit looks like. I know when somebody is having an emotional breakdown and their husband is sitting there acting like everything is fine because he found Jesus. Spiritual abuse is a thing. That's what a lot of pastors do to their congregation. Spiritual abuse. That's what the slave masters did to the slaves, using God against people to justify bullshit. Even the Bible says, watch out for false prophets. God gonna make it hotter and hotter and hotter. And what he does, I'm getting religious. I don't care if y'all don't like God. God moves me. If he don't move you, that's fine. You don't gotta, but still, God gonna make it hotter and hotter and hotter in this motherfucker until you ready to leave. That's how you know it's time to go. So she looked like it's getting hot. It's getting hotter and hotter. Every time she posts something, every time she does a live, she looks like it's just getting hot. So hopefully she leaves. Because the thing is, the way God does it is he doesn't orchestrate shit. He just leaves. He leaves you to your own decisions. You don't want his help, so he just leaves. That's what they said hell is. Hell isn't like fire and brimstone because God made it that way. Hell is fire and brimstone because the people that he left down there made it that way. It's the absence of him. And that's what it is. It's the absence of him. You're to your own devices now. You didn't want his help. You didn't listen to him. So now you get to suffer in your own stew until you figure out it's time to get out. So I think that's what's happening. She is suffering in her own stew. Not even her own stew, but the stew that he made and won't let her out of, and she won't let herself out of. It's a mixture. That's why it's a stew. Until she gets the fuck out the pot and is like, I'm done. I'm ready to go. She's trying to keep that family together and stuff. I bet she's doing it for the kids. You know how many grown adults I've talked to who have been raised by toxic parents who, when they were younger, elementary school age even would pray and wish their parents would get a divorce, because it was worse watching their parents disintegrate and argue and be abusive towards each other than it would have been just to pick and choose which parents to live with and go about their lives. You know, these kids don't want to sit and watch y'all argue. Most likely the kids will be fine if you divorce. He'll get, visitation. Most likely they'll live with her. They'll be fine. They don't want to see that. The Bible says that's the one thing you can divorce over is infidelity and shit like that. So if you really want to be going off the Bible, that's what it says. Go, if you don't get up and leave. If you don't get up and leave. This is not a warfare. If the Bible says it's too hot in the pot and you can leave when you need to, then get up and leave then, girl. I just want her to leave. I just want her to leave. I want her to leave. I know. It's just triggering. It's triggering. But yeah, I'm not projecting. There's evidence. You want to be blind and not see the evidence in front of your face of this woman's suffering? You be blind. I'm not going to be. She don't deserve that. But that's why you need to love yourself. You are the foundation of everything you do. That is the seed that grows into your career. It's the seed that grows into the friendships and the type of friends you choose. It's the seed that grows into the type of boundaries you have. It's the seed that grows into, every aspect of your life, because you have to, it has to make you feel good for you to do it, right? To do anything. Like me having a cat, I've been wanting a cat since I was in elementary school. Like, that is a part of a reflection of my self-love. Is me getting her. So it's the same thing. And if you ain't got love for yourself, someone's just going to come in and you going to have these flimsy, temporary things to hold on to that will disappear eventually, because everything outside of yourself is temporary. No matter if it's a person, place, or thing, everything outside of yourself will disintegrate, rot, die. You will have you, even after death. You have you from before birth. You have you after birth. You have you during your life. You have you after death. If you believe in God, you also have God throughout all of those things too. So at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody gonna love you enough. I don't care who they are. No one's gonna love you enough, because kids grow up and they find spouses and they have kids and they still love their parents. But they ain't going to follow up under you all day, all night like they used to when they were little. So you're going to have to love yourself enough to be okay with that absence. And so it's the same thing in a relationship. Your partner's not going to follow you around and be up under you, because they, hopefully they would love themselves enough that they have hobbies and things to do, in the relationship as well. They still have their own lives. You love yourself enough to have your own life. And then the two come together and create a new life. See how that works? That was nice. I like that. So, love yourself. Just love yourself. Love you. You are your self-worth. That's why Proverbs says, guard your heart. Guard your heart before you meet somebody and get married to them, so that you meet the right person, because marriage is an important thing. Marriage is a lifelong thing. And on top of that, having kids. That is even more important than marriage, because that's a new life that's going to go out in the world and do things and change the world in one way or another. Even if it's, just having conversations with people and making and giving people ideas for them to change their lives. They're going to go out in the world and do things. Having kids is important. And how they feel matters. I just feel so bad for her. Love yourself, y'all. Because you will avoid these types of situations if you do. I don't know, rambled. I went into like a sex talk. I went into generational trauma. I went into self-love, self-esteem, how this could possibly be an abusive situation. Who knows? But I think it is. I went into a lot of stuff. But, I'm not 100% saying it's abusive. I'm not diagnosing that man. I'm just saying it don't look right. None of it looks right. None of it looks good. It doesn't look okay. That's all I'm saying. And it's looking like some shit that I've been through before, and that most of my clients have been through before. And it's upsetting me and my homegirls. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below, like, share, and subscribe. I hope you come back. I hope you watch some more of my videos. I'm trying to think, what else can I say to get more subscribers? So at least I can get to 1,000 subscribers. If I get to 1,000, that's when they start paying you. So I'm like, well, the extra income, even if it's just $5 or some shit like that a month, I'm not going to turn it down. So, the extra income will be nice. So hopefully I get more subscribers. But I like this little family we got here too, Now I'm not going to say family. I don't like to make close connections and stuff like that and give people ideas. That's why I don't say I love you, because those types of things are important. And I like to teach people, save those words for people that truly have proven to you that they deserve those words. People that are close to you, people that care about you, people that show you on a consistent basis that they care. The I love yous and calling people family and stuff. Just don't throw those words around. Those are serious words. And people sometimes, because they are lonely and desperate, will take those words as true and be thinking, see, she called me family. Now it's okay to stalk her. I have anxiety. Leave me alone. That's where my mind goes. But no, for real, I think those are important words. You can't just throw them around and just say I love you to people or call people your family or anything like that. Like, those types of words are reserved for people that have shown you and proven to you that they deserve them. So I'll just leave that little thing here for y'all. Okay. Later days.